Today I'm going to share a quote with you. It's far easier to forgive an enemy after you've gone even with him. When I was reading this, the first thing that came to my mind was the saying, keep your friends closer and your enemies even closer. I was thinking about like some enemies in the basketball NBA league, and some of the enemies I was thinking about was the fighting through with Magic and Larry Bird, Boston and Lakers. Like back in the day when they were playing, they would always go at it when they played each other, and they always had that intensity like no one else could, have. And now like you see they're friends, and off the court they're friends, but when it's like on the court they're not friends. They just want to kill each other on the court. And now like you see they want to make a movie, and like now I saw they're trying to start a play together about them, and just showing that your enemies in a certain area, but out of that area you can be friends. There's one personal experience I had. It was to deal with basketball when I was in high school. I got in a fight with a teammate, and he was just talking behind my back. And, I confronted him, and we argued, and like we went our separate ways, and like, we hated each other. But the next day we were playing basketball, and we're on the same team. We were doing this little scrimmage, and we just clicked. And then after that, we just came together after that little scrimmage, and went our separate ways with that argument, and we started to talk to each other again. With this quote, like, even if you have enemies, like it's not great in life to have enemies, because it's not the way to live. You always want to make friends and not have those people you hate. Like someone can make you mad, you hate them, but they're not truly doing it on purpose to make you mad. They can still be a good person. Other than that, like, yeah, you're gonna have enemies, but you just gotta keep them closer, and eventually they'll be friends.
Alek, you needed to reverse the quotes at the beginning. Use the keep your keep your enemies close, or your friends close, but your enemies closer. Use that as your attention device and say, I know that quote from The Godfather. It's been in my head for years and years and years, but it wasn't until today when I saw this other quote that I knew really what it meant. And then you can kind of go into your examples. You basically just use the quote that you got as the attention device, and it seems strange to me because you actually had the other one right there at your fingertips that you could use. So switch it around there. You do need to be a little bit sharper as to what your thesis is, but we get the general idea. There's no preview of what the content is going to be. You kind of start right in with your example. The bird and magic example, I think, is okay for people who are familiar with it, but you can tell the story about the two guys. I'm sure you've probably read about it or heard about it, or maybe you saw the documentary that they made about it. And there's a lot of interesting stuff that went on there that could have filled it in a little bit about how they were competitive and how they ultimately came together, but they still remain competitive in a lot of ways. And I like that idea. You get your own personal example. Unfortunately, it's almost exactly in the same field. The rivalry, though, is a little bit different there because it wasn't on the basketball card. It was about something separate. And if you're going to talk about something separate, then it seems like another context would be most useful. And that's basically the organizational structure of your speech, is just the two examples. So it's simple. I like the fact that at the end of the speech, you just come back to the point and you kind of remind us, well, here's at least what I was trying to say. And that gives you a good period at the end of the sentence. Even if it's not the deepest idea in the world, it's clear. And that's, I think, helpful for the audience. presentation issues, generally we can hear you. There are no problems there, and there's okay variety in your voice. You've got kind of a quiet voice, but a little more energy wouldn't hurt, but there was nothing wrong with what you were doing, so it's not like there's any flaw there. With the gestures, there was a little bit of a problem. 90% of the time, you're just holding your own hand. You don't really loosen up. It's just kind of this thing that you're doing here like this the whole time. You've got the praying hands sort of situation there, and you want to look like you're a little bit more engaged. Your eye contact with the audience is solid. Your facial expressions, I think they could be a little bit more engaging. That you ought to be thinking or smiling or enjoying or frustrated, and try and convey some emotions there. I think you're a little indifferent, and it's not that you sound indifferent when you're speaking, but I think that you're not being conscious of the fact that you're also trying to make an impression with the audience visually, and we want you to be thinking about those kinds of things. All right, thank you. Paco, if you would, come get some topics.